All right, folks, welcome, welcome. Have a seat, grab a drink. We're gonna wait a few more seconds, get everybody get in the house. I see Ben Pacheco's in there. I see Texas drone guys here. We have Jonathan Jackson, a lot of familiar faces. Thorold Inspired, Curtis Warren, Digibud. Who else do we have? Vert73. We have Phoenix, Arizona, Photography and Drone Services. I know that guy. We have Michael Superbacker, David Matthews. David Matthews? The band? uh, we have Nick Malocaro. Who else? Tim Fisher, Independent Drone Channel, Airborne Dynamics. A lot of people that I recognize. I'm sure there will be a lot of remote ID questions today. So I'll wait a few. Audio is out. Is it good now? What happened? Okay. Audio should be back in. This is why we don't do live. Actually, we do live, but stuff happens. All right. Jason in here just put the link to the remote ID survey. It takes about 45 seconds. So you can actually do that as you listen to me talking. Please send us your data. What we're trying to do is we're trying to collect data on the readiness or lack of readiness of the industry and the community with remote ID. The reason why I want to do this is because we're always told by the FAA that they like data. So we're collecting data, and then hopefully at one point we'll share that data with the FAA to let them know where the community stands right now with remote ID as far as readiness. And I think this information is important. So yes, please fill out the survey. Be truthful. We are trying to collect good data in here, and then we'll make a video actually probably later this week that will be posted next week with the results of that survey. I went through the data today already. You guys have been pretty relentless at sending the data, which is awesome. We have so far. Let me go to the results here. We have 1,255 responses already. Which is amazing, based on the fact that I put this at 10 a.m. this morning and it's 4 p.m. right now. So in 6 hours, we get 1,200 responses. They're still coming in pretty fast every single hour, and the data is really good so far. I don't know that I care which way or the other it goes, but it shows a lot of variety, which I think is good. So, like I said, we'll be having that data, the results of that survey. It's only 4 questions total, and some of them, some people don't even answer because it's kind of depending on how you answer, you get more questions asked. So yeah, that's where we are. As far as remote ID, I'm going to give you an update on what we've been doing. I know a lot of you have been asking about these things right here. These are remote ID modules. We have a few of them. This is 4 of them. We have more that we've tested. We have 6. We have 6 out of 8 that we test that we put in our video. We recorded the video on Friday, and we're hoping to make it go live on Wednesday of this week. So that's in 2 days. And what we did is we put these to the test. We looked at the actual range. We looked at especially the range of how far these go into the thing. And Jason is bringing me the rest of them right here. So that's the rest of the modules that we have. These are self-powered modules. They're basically fully integrated. You just turn them on and put them on top of your drone. We did testing on these, which are not. These either need power or they need some additional assembly required on some of these. And we tested the range. We actually took a car with a bunch of people and we did some beyond visual line of sight testing because some of these went pretty far. So I thought that was really interesting. And we also tested different apps on iPhone, on Android, and we had another device as well that we used to measure how far the drone could be picked up from. So we'll give you the results, and then hopefully you can find one that works for you. That's if you can actually buy one, because the reason we've been so late with this video is because these things are nearly impossible to get. We were able to get some of them because we talked to the manufacturer directly and told them that we were going to do a review. Some of them we paid for our own pocket, some of them that were sent to us to do testing. That doesn't really influence the way that I'm going to give you the data, because it's just data, and then you guys can pick. So yeah, I think that's where we are with remote ID. So a lot of content coming up on that because, well, it's right around the corner. I'm still hoping that at one point the FAA will delay enforcement to after September 16, like hopefully to December something, but we'll see. All right, let's get started with the questions. We have airborne dynamics. First question, do I need remote ID module on my DJI FPV drone? And the answer is yes. That's over 250 grams, so you would need to have a remote ID module for your FPV drone.
Let's talk about some specifications for the 172. Now, this is for the S model.
Can you have another person fly your drone without trust certificate if you are beside them? We lost audio again. Do we have audio? I don't see it in the comments. Okay. All right. So do I have remote ID? Sorry. So if you're flying recreational without Part 107, can you have another person fly your drone without trust? That's a good question. Actually, there's nothing in USC 44809 that mentions flying with somebody else like it does in Part 107. As long as you can take over the flight controls, I would say it's okay. I think I see Vic in here in the comments. Vic, maybe you can help me with that one, because it's not allowed under 44809, but there's also no language that allows it. So it's kind of an interesting one. And Vic says the remote ID, DJI FPV will be remote ID compliant with firmware update on August 31st. That came from DJI. I forgot about that. So I'll get back to that question. Vic maybe can help me in the comments here. Are drone operators that work on TV and movie production affected by the writer and actor strike? I'm sure they are, because they're not filming. So if they're not filming,
let's talk about some specifications for the 172. Now, this is for the S model, although there are some slight differences with other models, but mainly these are going to stay roughly the same. The wingspan of this aircraft is 36 feet and 1 inch. The propeller in itself is going to be 76 inches. The height of the aircraft is 8 feet and 11 inches. And then the wheelbase is 16.
Remote ID is required for everyone except for one person. There's video, dual audio again. I'm not getting anything from here. Everything else is... Well, people are saying it's happening. It says no longer now. No, people are saying it's... It says no longer now. I don't hear it. I don't hear it anymore. Sorry, folks, having issues with our setup, which I think is a bit... Is it good now? Can you guys confirm? Okay, they're saying it's okay now. Okay. So, sorry, get interrupted. If the drone is remote ID compliant, if it's not remote ID compliant, the only way that you can fly without remote ID right now recreationally is if the drone is sub 250 grams and flown for recreational purposes. That's the only time that you don't need remote ID, or if you fly at a FRIA or FRIA. But if you're Part 107, you absolutely need remote ID to fly after September 16, 2023. I have a job inside a major sports stadium. The event coordinator says that she has the FAA approval. I will be reviewing it, but what, if anything, should I look for? If you're flying inside of a stadium, there is no FAA approval required. unless they have a big open roof. But if it's covered, you don't need to have remote ID. You don't need to have FAA approval in this case. Is the presentation video at Pilot Institute on remote ID modules finished? If not, when? I mentioned that earlier. It will be done hopefully by Wednesday of this week. That's when we plan to post it, or Thursday. How do we determine which class of drone we are using, class 1, 2, or 3? You have to go on the FAA website. This is for TA Hawken. I'm going to put a link in the description here in the chat. That's the DOC list. You have to go in here. You have to filter by, there's a little filter that's called OOP, Operations Over People. If your drone shows up under this, then it's either category 1, 2, or 3. It's going to tell you which category. That's for category 2 or 3. For category 1, your drone is category 1 if it is under 250 grams and the propellers cannot cause laceration, which is very rare. So you need prop guards, and there's very few drones that are like that. Category 2 or 3, there's no category 2 drones approved at the moment. There's only one category 3. So chances are your drone is not categorized, which means that you cannot fly over people or people in moving vehicles. Okay, next. What do you think the future holds for toroidal, I can never say that word, toroidal propellers? I think we saw a lot of press about those props. They're the props that are kind of self-enclosed and are supposed to be very efficient. I haven't really seen too many of them. I've seen them on some FPV websites where you can buy them and test them, but that's kind of it. So I don't know, until DJI, I think, starts to produce drones with those on, then I think it's going to be, I don't know. It seemed like a fad. From the studies that I read, it seemed like they were actually indeed very efficient, but it doesn't seem like it's been picked up just yet. Do you know of any buddy box dual remote solution for the new DJI drones Mavic 3? I do not, Nick. I know that the Mavic 2 Pro and Zoom had a buddy box option where you could get a dual controller, but for the new drones, I think it has to be done in software, but at the moment it's not available. Can I fly, DigiBut says, can I fly recreationally if I have my Part 107? That is a great question. We get that a lot. So let me put it this way, okay? When you have a Part 107 certificate, it allows you to fly by following the rules under Part 107. Or you can decide to fly under the rules of USC 49 USC 44809, which is the recreational exemption. So you can decide at that stage. Now, if you don't have Part 107, you can be forced to fly under the recreational rules, USC 44809. But if you have Part 107, now you have a decision to make before you fly. Either you go Part 107 or you go 44809. So yes, you can fly recreationally following 44809, but here's the trick. Under Part 107, you can also fly for recreational purposes. Part 107 is just that. You're just following a set of rules. Under Part 107, it doesn't say you have to fly for non-recreational purposes under Part 107. Part 107 just says these are the rules. So for an example, I fly my drone for fun. Sometimes I go take my kids out and I go fly with my kids. That's a recreational flight, but I always conduct it under Part 107. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So yes, you can fly recreationally, but I could also decide to go and follow recreational rules. I don't see a need to do that, but I could, if I wanted to, before the flight, decide which sets of rules I'm going to follow. Okay, next question. I assume Air 3 does have remote ID, right? Question mark. I didn't see it on the FAA side, but assume. So at the moment, remote ID, the Air 3 is capable of doing remote ID. It's just not approved by the FAA. So it's not on the DOC list that I linked earlier. I'm guessing that it's a matter of time until it gets approved, but it has everything on the inside to be remote ID compliant. It's just not compliant just yet, which is fine. You can, that should not be a stopping point for buying that drone if it's a drone that you're interested in. Any update on Part 107 swapping modules and it not costing a new registration? Yes. So, Daniel, the answer to this is up until December. From now until December, you will be able to keep changing the remote ID registration number on your registration form in the drone zone, and that's going to be free. But after December, that's not going to be the case. So, I'm a little bit disappointed. I was somewhat misled early on by the FAA when they said, by someone at the FAA, when they said, yes, we will make sure that you can swap these modules without a charge. And it looks like after December, that's not going to be the case. I'm really disappointed. So this means that after December, you likely will need to have a module for each of the drones that you're going to fly under Part 107. And that module is going to have to be registered to that specific drone in the FAA drone zone. And I think that's silly. Speaking of silly, Ben Pincherico is saying, silly question. One remote ID module can be used on all your registered drone, ? That's a follow-up question to what I just said. So that's only true if you're flying for recreational purposes, because under recreational purposes, you will have one registration number, and then you can assign a remote ID module to that registration number and then use it on all your drones. Under Part 107, that's not the case. If I remember from your course correctly, we have to take an extra course for night flying. I can't seem to find that extra course. Joe, you do not anymore. So that was true up until last year. I think by now the math adds up so that you don't have to do that anymore. But back when they changed the rules, you needed to do ALC 677 in order to become night current. But by now, you should have had done that ALC 677 already to become current every 2 years. So you should be good. So no, there's no more extra night flying courses that you have to do. Are many flying sites approved to fly? I'm guessing you're talking about FRIAs, James Ray. If not, how do you find out if your club or location has been approved? There's a website. I'm sure Jason is going to dig it because I don't have it as a shortcut. But there's a website on the FAA website where you can find the FRIAs that have been approved by the FAA. There's only one that has been approved so far that we saw, and this is actually one that's close to us, and I think it's the first one. It's here in Arizona, and it was approved by the by STEMC Plus, which is the fourth organization to be approved as a. I don't know why I'm tired today. My brain is not working. As a CBO, as a community-based organization. Okay, next question. Michael Superbacker is saying, so you need a license to post drone footage on YouTube regardless of if it's 249 grams. I believe the answer is yes. That's correct. Yes. If you are going to be, well, let me take that back. For any flights that are not done for recreational purposes, so for flights that are done for non-recreational purposes, you need to have Part 107 regardless of the weight of the aircraft, okay? So if your channel is monetized, that's not recreational purposes, then you need to have Part 107 regardless of the weight. But posting footage on YouTube in itself is not a reason to have Part 107. I gave you the example. I fly with my kids at the park, and I decide to record them and put them on YouTube so I can show my parents that I just flew with my kids. Then that's not a Part 107 activity. That's a recreational flight, even though it's posted on YouTube. Now, if I put that footage on Pilot Institute's page, which is a commercial page, then or YouTube channel, then in this case, I would need Part 107. Second question, what about reviewing a 249-gram drone where I film the drone flying but don't show footage from the drone? If the footage doesn't have anything to do with it, flying that drone to review it is a Part 107 activity. Okay. I have a Mini 2. I have Part 107. I do not want to spend $300 on the remote ID module, trying to decide if I should buy the Mini 3 Pro or the new Air 3. What can I do with my Mini 2? That Mini 2 is going to need a remote ID module because it's I forgot. I need to look at the list of the drones that are going to get approval from DJI. I don't think the Mini 2 is on there. So yes, you will likely need to have a module on top of that drone. Mini 3 Pro is a good upgrade. The Air 3 is also a great upgrade. So if that's what you want to do, yep. And OK Boomer was here last week as well. Do the commercially available remote ID module that can be affixed to a custom drone need to be listed and certified by the FAA before they can legally? Yes. These modules here, all the ones that we tested for this test, all of them are approved by the FAA. They have to be approved by the FAA, even if they're a module, even if there's something that you're going to put inside of a custom drone, which would be one of these three. There's a fourth one that we have not received yet from the manufacturer. We had to send it back for update, and we don't have it back. Do churches need Part 107? Yes, they do. Anyone who's not flying for recreational purposes needs to have Part 107. That includes churches and any non-for-profit. For how long will your Part 107 course summer sale remain in effect? For a while, quite frankly. So the price that you see right now, $159, that's going to be the price that we have on sale for a while. So
let's talk about some specifications for the 172. Now this is for the S model.
Vic confirmed that the Mini 2 is not going to be on the list from DJI. I know there was a list, but I haven't been able to look at it. Did we catch up on all the questions already? Sweet. All right. Oh, there's a new one. Somebody mentioned the Sky ID Spectrum that was released. It's $69.99 right now. It's going to be $99 by the end of October, I think. That's currently the cheapest module available. We ordered one because it was released like a day before we recorded our video. We ordered one. We haven't received it yet. It needs a battery, so you need to factor an additional battery in it. It's very much like this one right here, which is the Drone Beacon DB121. It's fully enclosed, but it does need external power, and it's only $69, which is still expensive. The Cube ID is $39, but that's not the full story. It's not going to work putting it on a DJI drone because it needs to get data from the actual drone. You need a drone that has a GPS in it. It's not as easy as it sounds. Okay, more questions. I don't know if Jason fell asleep back there. He's not copying and pasting the questions. Giving him crap. I'm considering the Parrot USA model for my next purchase. It was reviewed by PI, unclear on if remote ID compliant. I don't remember. I don't remember all the drones anymore that are remote ID compliant. But Ben, you can go on the FAA website right here. I'm going to link it again and take a look, and you can filter and see if it's in there. All right. Jason was searching to see if that Cube ID was actually FAA approved, and it's not. That's the reason we don't have it on our list, is because it was not FAA approved when we went in there. How heavy are these modules? They range from, this one is one of the heaviest. I think this is the Drone Tag Mini. Yeah. Drone Tag Mini is like 20 some grams. I don't quote me on that number, but it's 20 to 25 grams. I think some of them, this is pretty light, but it needs a battery, like 7-8 grams. This one is also about the same. So they're no more than 20 grams putting on top of your drone. Next question. Who writes the tickets if you fly without Part 107 and get stopped for filming for income? That would be the FAA. So the FAA if the FAA finds out that you've been doing that, then they would be the one issuing the fines. You don't want to find out. I thought I heard you in a previous video saying that under 249 gram drones for recreational purposes would not need remote ID. That is correct. That is correct. Drones that are flown for recreational purposes that are sub 250 grams do not need to have remote ID. In Drone Zone, do I have to cancel my recreational and just use Part 107, or could I use one or the other? Door County Drone. So the answer to that question is keep both of them. depending on how you fly. You may have, let's say you have 5 drones and you're only using 2 of them for Part 107. Each of these drones is going to have their own Part 107 registration, and then all the other drones that are flown for recreational purposes are going to have the same recreational registration number. So if all of your drones are registered under Part 107, let's say you have we have 5 drones here. Let's say all of them are flown under Part 107, then each of them will have its own registration, and each of them will have their own registration number that you put on the drone. At which point you'll have a recreational registration number that you're not using, but who knows, if you get another drone that's flown for recreational purposes, then you're going to use that. Adrian is asking, what do we know about Part 108 that's in the pipeline? Not much, quite frankly, Adrian, at this stage. Part 108 came from a drone advisory committee or I don't even remember if it was the DAC, but it came from some group recommendation that we should have Part 108. And everybody can get all excited about Part 108, but at this stage, the FAA Reauthorization Act does not talk about Part 108 at this stage. So I'm not quite sure, actually. It's kind of fallen through. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to happen in the future, but at this stage, there hasn't really been any changes. If I pay someone to make drone footage for me, how do I show proof of that? If I pay someone to make drone footage for me, how do I show proof of that? Proof? I'm not sure what proof. Well, you don't. Yeah, I mean, if you pay someone, it's your responsibility to make sure that they're Part 107 certified. That's really the bottom line. That's what I would do. Have you looked at the Swell Pro drones? I know about the Swell Pro. I have not looked at them. They have some different camera modules, maybe a consumer competitor to DJI. Last I checked, the image quality on the Swell Pro drones was not too crazy. So I'm gonna say not really a DJI competitor at this stage. All right, what else do we have? Yep, it was a BV loss recommendation ARC, and the AA. Yeah, that was a recommendation from the FAA asking a group of industry professionals to get together and then make a recommendation. Okay. Is the Mavic 3 Pro listed on the FAA DOC? I have not been able to find it. It was previously listed. Yes, the Mavic 3 Pro is the Mavic 3 series is in there. So I would look at Mavic 3 instead of just Pro, and then see if your reference number falls in there, if your registration number falls in there. All right, next question. I only fly for fun thus far. I'm studying for the knowledge. I'll take the test, but no real need to even get a 107 license. That's correct. Well, yeah, if you're flying for fun, you definitely do not need to have Part 107. I mean, some people do it, but yeah, most people that take the test do it because they want to get the Part 107. What's the Part 108 about? That was about potentially flying beyond visual line of sight. And like I said, it's still unclear how the FAA is going to deal with that kind of certification. If you fly at night, is there a test we got to take, or is it in the pilotinstitute.com course? If you fly at night, it's all included in the initial test that you take with the FAA. So when you go take the test, I'm going to teach you about night flying. The FAA is going to test you on night flying in the actual test, which means that you will be capable and allowed to fly at night after you become Part 107 certified. Is there any UAS-made drone that is a competitor to DJI in the same price range for the consumer drone? That's a question we get all the time, and the answer is no, quite frankly. No, there's really nothing that comes close to the quality of DJI. I hate to say it, but the closest US-made drone is going to be Skydio, that hasn't released a drone for consumers in several years, quite a few years, and that just decided to stop making drones for consumers. So nope, and I don't foresee any competition, sadly, from U.S.-made manufacturers for the consumer market. On the trust certificate, do you have to do it? To do it, what does that mean? Do you have to do trust? So trust, let's talk about trust. Trust is right here. I'm going to put a link for you guys. The trust certificate is required if you are going to fly following the recreational exemption, so USC 44809. If you're going to fly for fun in the United States, you need to complete trust, which is free, takes about 30 minutes, and you cannot fail it, okay? So you can do it. We're a trust provider for the FAA, and I just put the link in there. So yeah, go and do that if you're flying for recreational purposes. If you are Part 107 certified and you only fly under Part 107, then you do not need to take trust, although it's a good thing to do, and it would be a good thing to have with you just in case. Let's say that you go to a park and a friend of yours wants you to fly their drone, and their drone is not registered under Part 107, then you would have to fly recreationally, which means you would need to have a trust certificate. All right. Oh, is that what they're asking?
That was a follow-up question.
Do you have to renew trust? Do you have to renew trust? And the answer is no. Surprisingly, the FAA made it so it's a one and done, which I think is a bit short-sighted because drone regulation is going to change. So I don't know what's going to happen once we have an update to trust, a major update to recreational rules. I don't know if you're going to have to do it again, if you're going to have to do an updated course. I'm not sure. But as far as we've been told, it's a one and done. Next question. Darius is saying, I passed my Part 107 August 2nd. How long does it typically take to get the permanent certificate? 30 to 40 days, I think, is the latest update that we've gotten from students. I saw another question here. Will PI be at Commercial UAV Expo? Yes, we will be. We have a booth. It's booth 333. So come and find us. It's hard to miss us usually at those events because we have this gigantic 20 by 20 by 20 display that you can see from quite the distance. So come say hi if you're over there. And we have some giveaways. We have a drone. We'll have a drone simulator in there. We'll have Vic. I think he said he was going to be at the booth quite a bit. So if you want to come say hi to Vic as well, he'll be out there signing autographs and kissing babies. All right. Tablet suggestion to use. Even the iPad seems dim. There is a brand. I'm sure somebody will put it in the comments. There's a brand of tablets that is pretty bright, but I can't remember their name because my brain is fried right now. Oh yeah. Go on Ken Dono's channel, Original Dobo, and search tablet. He's done reviews on those, and he has great content. Another question, do the commercially available remote ID modules have their own GPS sensors? Will a GPS sensor be required on the controller? That is a great question. Okay, Boomer. So let me explain this as easily as I can. It's a two-part question. Are we going to do they have GPS sensors? And the answer is for all four of these right here that are self-contained. All these have a GPS sensor in them. These right here, most of them do not, which means that they're going to rely on plugging this into an already existing GPS unit on the drone in order to get that data. Now, as far as the controller part of it, that's the one bit that's got us kind of concerned at the moment because if you're building your own drone today, okay, let's say today, Pilot Institute, we decided to build our own drone and we're going to use it under Part 107. That drone needs to be compliant with standard remote ID regulation, which means that under standard remote ID, we need to not only broadcast the location of the drone, we also need to broadcast the location of the pilot, which means that adding one of these right here is only half the equation. Adding one of these, or even one of these, which is a module, is only half the equation because it doesn't broadcast the location of the pilot, which means that it would not be a standard remote ID drone. So what we would need also is something, a GPS unit that we can put on the controller that would talk to the GPS, to the entire remote ID module that's inside of the drone. And that doesn't exist right now. So come September 16, 2023, which is 2.5 weeks away from today, come that time, there's currently no possible way for people that build their own drone that fly under Part 107 to be compliant. If we, Pilot Institute, wanted to build a drone, we couldn't. That's I don't even know how else to say it. It's just mind-boggling to me. So even if you wanted to be compliant, you couldn't be. So what would you do? Well, quite frankly, what we're going to do is we're going to put one of these right here on top of the drone, and that's going to have to be good enough right now. So if we were to build a new drone, I would just put one of these. I know it doesn't meet the requirement of the regulation, but short of inventing the actual technology, we can't comply. We just cannot comply because nobody has created one of these solutions in the industry. If I already have a Pilot Institute account, do I need to re-register for Trust? Yes, the Trust website is separate from the pilotinstitute.com website because the FAA doesn't allow us to keep accounts once we issue a trust certificate. We actually have to delete your account. All we keep is the trust certificate number. I know it sounds kind of weird, but so we cannot use the Pilot Institute account that's in our system because otherwise we would have to delete that, and we can't do that because we want to keep you on board. Okay, next question. Can a city establish a FRIA at a local airfield, or can that only be done by a community organization, education organization? The way that I understand it right now, all FRIA requests have to be submitted via a community-based organization. So I think the city could talk to a community-based organization and have them submit the application, but I don't think it's open to others. And I'm 95% sure of that answer. So if anybody else has, Vic might actually have an update on that. But last time I read, that's how it was. What is the FAA's current starting penalty cost for illegal flying? I heard at least $12,000 per party involved, and that includes 2 clients. Tiki Po Boy. I think at this stage it's a little bit unclear. The FAA has a document where you can find how much they would charge for violation, but it's not just like, okay, here, it's not a simple table where you can go and look and say, oh yeah, this is going to cost this much, like a shopping list. It's a bit more complicated than that. So there's no real easy answer to give you. Last I heard, it was $3,500 per violation for some minor violation. I know there is an old article out there that talks about clients that hired Part 107 pilots also being charged for doing that. I could not verify the data and make sure that it actually is a violation. So I'm not going to say it's not true, but I'm not also going to say that it's true because I couldn't verify it. What else? Let me see if Vic replied. Yep. So Vic says only CBOs and educational entities that can submit FRIAs. Thorals Inspired says, is it possible for someone to watch a live video feed on an iPad while you fly your drone? Yes, but on an iPad? There's a way to stream. Well, there's a lot of different ways to do this. There's a way to stream using RMTP to stream to Facebook Live or YouTube Live. I think that's still available via the DJI apps. That's one way to do it. If you wanted to do it for a client, here's what I recommend. You get the DJI RC Pro that has an HDMI out. And then the Autel controller also has an HDMI out. And then you HDMI out into a TV. And that's probably the easiest way to do it. I know it's not wireless, but otherwise... Yeah, the DJI transmission system, but that also... Yeah, so you would have to get a DJI transmission system, plug the HDMI out from the controller to the DJI system, and then the DJI system would broadcast that to a controller, which also has an HDMI out that could be plugged into a TV. Yeah, that becomes complicated and expensive, but yeah, it's it's not super easy. All right, next question. Have you seen any companies in the enterprise software space that interest you? Quite frankly, our friends at Skybrowse, I think, have a really cool business model and cool pieces of software. We also talked to a company that did AR overlays, and I think that's really cool in concept. I don't think that it's there yet because of the cost involved, but an AR overlay of maybe another drone that's flying in the airspace, or maybe a manned aircraft that's entering into the airspace, and imagine having a pair of goggles on and you look up and then you have an overlay on top that tells you this aircraft is at this altitude, this far from you, or even airspace, being able to see airspace using an overlay as AR, augmented reality, for those of you that don't know. So that kind of stuff interests me because we've been toying with VR and AR in the office, doing quite a few things, and I think that's really cool. But yeah, as far as software, our friend Bobby at PayPixel also has a pretty cool piece of software where he does he allows you to share your data with others, so with your clients, and has a paywall in between and kind of collects the money and make sure that that money is being given out in small when the images are being handed to the customer once they pay. They kind of act as a middleman for that. I think it's pretty cool. Okay. I filled out the information for the free stickers, but never received the email to double check the information is correct. Do you still have stickers left? Yes, we do have stickers. Jason and we just looked today. I think we've issued 25,000 stickers. I think it may have been even more than that. Anyways, it was a pretty big number. But yes, we have stickers left. We're going to continue doing that. If you did not get the confirmation email, Keith, email us at contact@pilotinstitute.com, and we will take a look and make sure that we received it. Are there restrictions about flying within 100 yards of a ferry in uncontrolled airspace? No. No restrictions in flying within a certain distance from really anything. And so ferries are okay. Don't fly over them. They're a moving vehicle with people in them, so I'm guessing. So don't do that. Which Lens app would be the best to use? That would be a Loft Air Control. Great app. That's what we prefer. That's what we use. Are we going to have to go into the drone zone and add the remote ID number to our registration? Yes. If you have a module, you will have to add it to your registration to say that you're compliant for that drone. If you have a standard remote ID drone, then it will come with a remote ID number, and then you'll put that in there. Next question. I am currently taking your online Part 107. Should I register my drone as Part 107 or recreational, even though I'm taking my sweet time to take and pass the test? My recommendation would be register it now under Part 107. That registration is also valid for recreational purposes, and so you won't have to double register. You won't have to register recreational and then Part 107. Just do it under Part 107. You'll be good. Where do you see drone pilots 5 years from now? Ooh, really interesting question. 5 years. 5 years. 5 years, I think, well, that's a really good question. 5 years, I think drone pilots will have a lot of help with software. I think it's going to depend on what you do. I think there's going to be a lot of branches of drone flying that are going to be automated, but yet still required to have a drone pilot, because I don't think the FAA is going to let drones fly around without a drone pilot anytime soon. I think there's going to be a lot more opportunities, quite frankly. People might disagree with me, but I think more and more branches of different industries are going to be using drones because they realize the benefits to it. So I think there's going to be more availability, more opportunities for drone pilots. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in 5 years. I think we're going to look back in 5 years at remote ID and kind of laugh at it because most of the drones by then will be remote ID compliant out of the box. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a new type of remote ID in 5 years. It'll be funny to replay this clip in 5 years and see where I'm at. If you ask me as far as technology, I think we're going to have an increase in battery flight time because of more efficient propellers, because of better batteries themselves, more dense energy. So we'll be able to fly in 5 years. Let's say the 45 minutes that we have today will be an hour and a half in 5 years. So we'll replay that clip in 5 years, put it down. Yeah, mark it and put it in the library. We'll see. It'll be interesting, I think. Why is DJI still selling the OG Mini SE when they have the Mini 2 SE, Mini 2 and 3 and 3 Pro? You know why? Because people are still buying it. That's going to be my guess. Because it's they probably made a crap ton of them, and people are buying them, and it's pretty cheap, and it's a good starter drone. That would be my guess. Recreational flyer with a Mini 2. It's registered because I was told it's a smart thing to do, although not required. Will that mean that I have to buy remote ID? Ooh, that's a great question. We hear that quite a bit. So if you registered your drone when you were not supposed to do it, you do not need remote ID, because remote ID is only required for drones that are required to be registered. Okay, so if you have it registered and you weren't supposed to, don't put a registration number on your drone because it's not required, and then you don't need remote ID. You're good. How often do you update the drone wiki? On a regular basis. We update it as soon as we have reports. We just had 2 of them yesterday for additional corrections. So it's a constant thing. We had, I think, from what I've seen come up through our email, I don't see all of them, but about 10 of them in the last month at least that I saw. I get it, you need remote ID by September 16, but is DJI drones remote ID broadcasting now, and how do you check? Because I don't see the status of remote ID on my controller. So Marlon, you have to go to the DOC page. I'm going to put it right here. And oops, that's my shortcut. There you go. So that's where you go and you find your drone model, and then you'll see if it broadcasts. You need to have the most updated software, firmware. We also have a video on our YouTube page if you want to go kind of dig around on our YouTube page and search for remote ID. We have one that is called Are You Compliant? And that's going to help you figure out if you're compliant. If there are hostilities between the US and China, could they ground all DJI drones in the US? DJI is not going to get involved with that. I can almost guarantee you that. They sell millions of drones in the United States. Grounding their drones in the US would mean a massive loss of revenue, and they're not going to do that. I don't care how close tie people think DJI is to the Chinese government. I don't think DJI would ever do that. With no remote ID for controller, what's the point in bothering with getting a mod for drone? Well, the module is simple because it complies with remote ID for those older drones. Why would you put a module on there? You're mostly compliant. You're 90% compliant with the module as far as standard remote ID is concerned. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have a correct answer for that. Yeah, Vic makes a good comment. He says, don't forget, just because your drone isn't picked up on a remote ID receiver doesn't mean that it's not compliant. If it says it's good, it's good. I agree with that. If your DJI drone says it's good, because we did testing on different apps, and there was a couple modules that I was not able to get on my iPhone app, and I was using drone. Let me see which one I was using. I was using Drone Tag, and I was not able to get 2 modules. They have a drone scanner app now on iPhone. That one was a lot better, so I recommend using that. Levon Mitchell says, I have DJI Mini 3 under 250. Can I fly my drone without the trust test or without remote ID? Trust and remote ID are not tied. You need trust to fly any drone of any weight in the United States for recreational purposes. So that's out of the way. Your Mini 3 is under 250, flown for recreational purposes, so it does not need remote ID, but it needs trust. You need to do trust. There's no reason not to do trust, by the way. It's free training provided by the FAA. That's nice and easy. All right. Who else? Whew. Yeah, let's do a giveaway. I'm sorry, if I'm a little bit slow tonight, my brain for some reason is fried. I spent the entire day working on course development, and I had a cookie this afternoon, and my brain is gone. Oh, Jared's here. Hey, better late than never, Mr. Jared. Jared is our mapping instructor, if you don't know him, and hopefully we will see him in Vegas next week. Oh yeah, before we do the giveaway, we will be in Las Vegas next week, starting on Monday. Monday, we're going to set up. On Tuesday, we will be at the show Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and packing up on Thursday night and then driving back, hopefully. And yeah, so come see us, booth 333, and we have giveaways and all that good stuff. Jared says he just got in from mapping 400 acres. 400 acres. Holy smokes. It's a lot. How many Part 107 have 100% on the test? Last I checked, we had about 90 students that get a perfect score out of, so that's about 9%, 90 out of, what are we at, 77,000, I think, right now. So that's, yeah, that's, let me get my percentage, that's 0.1%. 0.1% of our students get a perfect score. So, which is, I think, a pretty good number, quite frankly. Average score is 92 still on the exam from our students. Yeah, about 0.1 total get 1%, get 100. And you get a free polo shirt like this that says graduate underneath if you get that. Do you think municipal authority will enforce RID FAA regulation? Ooh, good question. They might. Some municipalities may add language to their regulation that you have to have remote ID to fly a drone in the US. Why would they do that when it's already a regulation with the FAA? The only reason they would do it so they can fine you if you don't do it. We've seen that. We've seen some municipalities that double up on the FAA language. It's pretty much exactly the same, just so that they can, well, I don't know why they do it, but they do it. I don't want to speculate. Also keep in mind, I was thinking about this the other day, if you are planning on not complying with remote ID because you think nobody's ever going to see you, remember that if you have insurance, your insurance company might find out that you don't have remote ID. And if they do and you have a crash, they will get rid of you and that claim very quickly. Insurance companies will do anything they can to find a reason not to pay you what they want to pay you, or to cover for any kind of damage that you have done to a person or to property. So imagine you're flying out there under Part 107, you have insurance, you think you're all nice and dandy, but you decided not to get a module on your drone to not be compliant with remote ID, and then you crash onto someone or somebody's property. Your insurance company, the first question they're going to say is, what was the registration number and what was the remote ID registration? And if you don't have that, you'll be in trouble. So keep that in mind. What drone did Jared use for mapping 400 acres and how many batteries did it take? He said he flew the Mavic 3 Enterprise, just under 3 batteries for that. Well, that's cool. All right. Cool. Let's do a giveaway. Let's do, we have lanyards. I don't have them right here. We have lanyards. We have keychain holders that we'll send over. We'll do 2 of these rounds, and then we'll do a course at the very end. So What we're going to do is I'm going to put a little break line right here. And then you're going to guess between 1 and 107, 1 and 107. Guess a number. And whoever guesses what Ethan puts in the chat, then you win. So, oh, Jason's got lanyards. All right, we have a number in the chat. You guys go ahead and put it in the thing right here. These are the lanyards that Jason brought in. Whoa. Okay, I went pretty... No what? No duplicates. Oh, I see it. Yeah, I see it. I saw it pretty quickly here. Stand by. Where did it go? Right there. Tiki Po Boy. Oh, and then Mosh's Eliyahu was right after that, but Tiki Po Boy was the first one that came up on my thing. So email Jason at pilotinstitute.com, and then we will send you the giveaways. All right, people are still putting stuff. I'm going to say stop. Vic says the chat looks like the wheel on Let's Make a Deal. All right, I'm going to put reset.
Yeah,
The what? Oh, you put claps? All right, reset. Cool. All right, let's do that one more time. You guys put your guess between 1 and 107. Ben is going to put a number in the chat, in our personal chat, and then make sure you guys guess that. We'll send, that's going to be the second package that we're going to send over tonight. All right, we have a number. Ooh, so close. Yeah, so close. It goes too fast. Okay. Wow. Okay, no, close. So close. I know, it goes too fast. Okay, keep going, guys. The same number has been guessed like 5 times, and it's a little bit off. Right? Do you see that? Oh, there it is. Is that Jason Black? Is that who you have, Ben? Yeah, Jason Black. Jason says confirmed as well. All right, Jason Black, you get the second package. Congratulations. All right, what are we going to give away? Which course do you guys want us to give away as the last present? Put it in there, and we'll give it away. Part 107, we have the photography course, the mapping course. We have private pilot, the drone business course. Let us know what you want, and then whatever comes up the most, we'll give that away. Mapping, I see 1 mapping, 2 mapping. I'd love a course. Lanyard is not a course. Mapping, oh, it looks like we're giving away a mapping course. 107, 107, 107. 107 mapping. Okay, how about we do this? Let's give a 107 course first, and then we'll give a mapping course after that. Under popular demand. Ooh, lots of mapping. Okay, all right. I'm going to put a break line. Break. Breaker, 1-9er. All right, break right here. Jason, you pick the number. Vic says a date with Greg. Too many hairy dudes in that chat for that. Vic, I'll give you a free date when we're in Vegas. You and I can go have dinner with everybody else. All right, Jason, pick a number quick before the chat goes wild. All right, there it is. Okay. Jason's got a number. Oh, shit. Everybody says 107, but I don't think they're guessing the number. I think they want the 107 course. Okay, 90. Is it? I don't see it. Holy crap, it's going fast. Oh, you guys are going to have to help me with that one. Nope. I'm pretty sure we used that number before too. So this is for part 107. This is for part 107. Nope, still not. Nope. Oh, there it is. You guys see it? Confirm. TCPIP nut. TCPIP nut. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Jason says Bob Casey Ariel. Must have gotten it before. I'm sorry. Jason, can you confirm? Oh, okay, Bob Casey, you got it first. I'm sorry, I missed it. It went too quickly. So Bob Casey, you're first. I see Adrian guessed it afterwards too. That was 99. Bob Casey, you got it. Email us, jason@pilotinstitute.com. And we'll do one more. I'll pick the number myself. And I'm going to reset the chat. Just you wait. I'm going to reset. Okay, there is the reset. And this is for the mapping course. You guys can put in your number. I've got my number in our group chat. And Bob, yes, you can get the photography course instead. Email us and we'll do that for you. All right, keep guessing, folks. Oh, I see it right there. T.A. Hawkins. T.A. Hawkins, number 23. You win the mapping course. Email us. Email jason@pilotinstitute.com. He will hook you up. All right, folks, it's 5:01 here in Prescott, Arizona. Next week, we will be at Commercial UAV Expo on Monday. We are going to do a live on Monday from the booth. I think Vic probably can join us if he's going to be there. We'll try to get a few guests with us. I think Ken might be there on Monday. I'm not sure if he gets in on Monday or not. But we'll do something from the booth. Hopefully we have it built by then. It takes a few hours. And yeah, come and say hi on Tuesday when the show starts. And we will chat and talk drones. But in the meantime, look forward for a filter video. Actually, we have a filter video for the Mavic 3 Pro that should be coming out this week, hopefully on tomorrow and or on Wednesday. And we have the remote ID video coming later, and we have another remote ID video about the survey. Make sure you guys fill out the survey. If you haven't, I'm going to put the link again in the chat right here to fill out that survey. Make sure we get some good data, and then we can share it with everyone. And yep, Vic says we'll see you guys next week. Have a good weekend. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that so that you get notifications when we go live. All right, that's it. Bye, guys.